saw
Okay.
when I first got on with you.
Damon, we are live. I just want to say hi.
Oh, nice.
People don't have any
Bam.
people don't have any idea what we've gone through over the last 2 days to get to this place. But let me just say,
We
I'm
both
sharing
have a
my
smile. We still have a smile. That's good.
we do. And I let me just introduce Damon Willis, who is a leader in the certified high performance coaches community and also just such my hero. You're my technology hero for sticking with this, Damon. So, just as you know, but I'm going to go check Facebook and make sure that everything's okay over there. Can you talk a little bit just about overcoming adversity while I'm gone?
Absolutely. I'll do my best. Adversity, that is just part of the growing process, right? We can call it a challenge. We can call it resistance. We can call it gravity. Whatever we're going to call it, there's always going to be some sort of pull of us from us advancing and moving onward, right? And I think that's a big thing is expecting it, not being we've all been around the block a few times, and we shouldn't be surprised by it anymore, right? And I think just like Sherry, the way that you're showing up, right, and all these other interviews that I've heard, like everyone just showing up, just okay, what's the objective, right? The objective is to serve, right? So you just show up, do the best that you can. Don't try to focus on the things that you don't control. Like you called me a technology hero, but I had nothing to do with the technology. I'll take the hero part. I appreciate that. But the technology side, it's like, I'm like, turn it on, turn it off. And if it's like beyond that, it's like, I got to go find one of my teenagers, right, to help me. But anyway, I just think, adversity is knowing that it's going to be part of the process and already becoming friends with it, of saying, okay, so it's not if it happens, when it's happened, then what am I going to do? How am I going to adapt? How do I want to show up? What am I going to do? And I always loved what Wayne Dyer said when he said to respond with responsibility, to respond with ability. So instead of a disability or I can't do this, or which it all depends on, kind of the threshold that we hit or the mountain we got to climb. But ultimately saying, I'm going to get to the top of that mountain, and it's just a matter of, so what do I have? Who can I reach out to? What tools, what leverage, whatever, and then I'm gonna, I'll just make it happen and do the best I can, and that's just my take on it. So
You know what? I love this. And I keep asking myself because I kind of love to play a little game like, what's the meaning of this? And so, we recorded an amazing conversation the other day. There was a server breakdown, over surge, whatever. And so we lost it. And I've been like, like what's in this for me? And of course, I've seen all kinds of things personally about it. But
right.
what I love is here we are now, and we get to have this added layer to our conversation, which is really important in these difficult times we're in, which is that there are all kinds of things happening that we don't have any control over. And here you are coming in with, I don't think we even talked about this the other day, this message of, we show up and we serve. And hi, Monica and Greg. Look, we know people are out there
What's up,
now.
Greg? What's up, Monica? Good.
You see
We're getting confirmation.
I love that. Monica said maybe you lost it because this one will be better. So
that's what we're hoping. I was thinking the first one was so good it broke the internet, like I couldn't handle it. But maybe it is. We do need to have a do-over. Maybe the first one wasn't as good as we thought it was.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that was just me thinking I was. I just love this, right? That it's like we don't have control over so many things. And your message right now of we show up, we serve, and then, it's not up to us.
Yeah.
I'm.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's. Yeah, I think it's just so much is that, that's kind of being alive, is just kind of like warts and all, and however it comes out, is because you can't, as the saying says, you can't fatten the pig the day of the fair, right? It's like either you got it or you don't. And I think you just show up and do the best that you can here. And I don't know if you want to talk about, because one thing that I really appreciated our last conversation, where when you asked me, I can't remember, maybe you remember the exact question, but I shared that that framework of vision and
Yes.
being valiant, and then obviously being the victor, and focusing on those three things. So I don't know how we got on that topic, but we just talked about frameworks, or so maybe we can talk about that if you're okay,
I
of that
have,
framework, because that is all about adversity.
yes, and
So
I have the 3 V's written on my little cheat sheet right beside me. So you're right there. I really wanted to revisit that because that had a big impact on me. So yeah, tell us 3 V's.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So just the first one is the vision, right? So what is the outcome that you vividly see, you want to create, you want to, again, participate in, right? Ultimately, what's the big why and outcome, right, that you want, the vision. And I always love, there's that scripture that says, without, if people don't have vision, they perish, right? So again, it's like knowing, kind of like fixing what's your North Star, right? You're fixing that. What do you want to accomplish? So I think we talked about the whole point of this, we're going to get on the other side of this COVID-19 situation, right? It might be 3 months. It might be, a little longer than that, whatever. But at one point in time, we will be on the other side of it, right? So what's the vision, right? And that's what I actually love about the year 2020, right? Hindsight's 2020. So how do we come into this new year with that vision and the wisdom that we've already learned, right, to apply it? And feel free to jump in any moment here. And before I go on to the next one, do you want to talk a little bit about vision, or your thoughts? Or
I just want to say I'm so glad you brought in 2020, right? Because I love that. The whole vision, 2020 vision, what kind of, perfect vision is happening right now. So thanks for saying that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no worries, of course. And then the second thing is being valiant, right? So that's being wholeheartedly committed to a cause, right? So again, the showing up piece, the preparation, it's, again, just feeling the pull of valiantly saying, okay, you know what, this is my real fight. This is what I love. This is what I'm all about. These are my values, my morals. And so regardless of the situation, how do I have integrity here towards that outcome, right? So being valiant. And then the third thing is being victorious. And, I think a lot of it, so much of it is it's the feeling. More than the destination. We talk about the journey is more important than the destination, because it's true. Because once we get to a destination, we're like, cool, awesome, we appreciate it. But it's also, if you look back, it was the journey that really taught you, not the actual, spot that you land, right? Because then there's like more for you to continue to move forward, right? To continue to be victorious. But what's the feeling of victory? Meaning you overcame the obstacles, you accomplished the thing that you actually set your mind to. It wasn't like a magic. It wasn't a mistake. It was like it happened because that was something that you had your eye on, and then you emotionalized the right person, right? And then you ended up there, taking the right steps, one step ahead of the next. So,
Damon, I'm so glad you had the opportunity to share this again so other people can hear it. And what's dropping in for me is what I keep thinking of what we talked about before, but I love this, that there was this question that came from being valiant, and also what does it feel like to be victorious, which is when we were talking about, like, who do I want to be right now? Who do I want to be? Like, what does that balance look like for my community, for my family? And I think that that's such an important part of it, right? Like that, you were talking about this before, like what do we envision of how we're going to walk through this?
Yeah. And I think, is it okay? I know every time we do these, I ask for things probably no one else asked for, but I would love to hear, like, in the chat rules, or anyone that has a question about the vision part, being valiant, or victory. Is there any?
Yeah.
Hopefully we're still live.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
No, did you see this? Did you see Monica?
I can't see anything. I don't dare touch anything. So
okay,
you're gonna have to read it to me.
Don't touch anything, Damon. Just sit still.
No.
Okay, so Monica says she has a vision story. Today I had a coaching call with 2 salespeople, and the company wants them to sell, but that message didn't sit well in their hearts. So I had them talk about their vision, and then I had them share their mission. And what we came up with, instead of selling, was helping and getting on calls with the clients for free expert coaching full of heart connection. I love that, Monica. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks, Monica, because I think so much of it goes back, and it's interesting. Some of the stuff that we talked before, it's coming up again.
I know.
How do we define something, right?
Yeah.
So that word selling, and this is some work for those people too, is for them, like, how do they define selling, right? But they changed the word, they defined it in a way that they felt good about, right? And I think it's so important, right? For me, selling is persuading and influencing someone to act from their higher self here and now, right? To become what they really want, right? Ideally live into what they want, right? And this is persuasion and influence and giving them proof, right? And a path to get there. But you have to be able to express that in a way that it backs in for them, be like, oh, okay, I do need this. This is a better tool, or this is a better way, or this is a better whatever that's going to give me the ability to accomplish the thing that I want to accomplish that's meaningful to me. But again, it always has to be, backed in with ethics and values and morals, right? Or we are going to feel not good about it, right? So, but that was a perfect example.
I know.
Of creating the vision.
I love that, and I'm thinking also on a personal level, I just brought the, the 3 words exercise into a coaching call I did the other day for a group of people who are outside of our world. They don't know the high performance coaching, but it was so great that when they were looking at these words for themselves, exactly what you're saying, like they were looking behind it, like, well, what's behind when I say I want to be creative or compassionate? And I think this is what you're pointing to, which was just that, like, what is the definition for us? Because it may look very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't, and sometimes we can fall into the mistake of everyone sees it the way I see it, or they understand it the way that I understand it. It's like it's not true, right? And it's like you got to meet people where they're at and kind of find out. And that's one thing I love about Brendan's genius and frameworks and everything. I mean, he gives such a clear way of understanding and then moving forward step by step, so everyone kind of gets on the same page. But again, it's personalized for the individual.
Yes. And Damon, I'm going to do something that I know it feels like a little bit of a pivot, but it's what's coming in, and I really always trust that, And
let's do it.
What's coming in is the other day when we were talking, the word faith came into our conversation. Mm-hmm. And I think faith is a really beautiful word to bring in, because people have very different words for faith and for what that means. But I just think it's really important that we bring that. I don't know. I just felt called to bring that into this conversation.
That's cool. Yeah. Because remember, we talked about FOMO, right? So we talked about the faith of missing out, right? And I said, well, it's also the faith of moving onward, right? So it's a different way of whatever the acronym is. So fear of missing out or faith of moving onward. And to me, I'd love to hear your definition of faith. To me, faith is believing in the unseen, right? Believing in the unseen, right? And I just think it's powerful to say, okay, even though that's the right thing. So in the unseen, I know, because everything's done spiritually, right? Mentally, and then physically, right? I mean, there's a sequence that happens to it, right? So the faith is the one that's happening, again, in the unknown, right? Or we know thoughts are those type of things, right? But ultimately it's tapping into what has not been created yet. And it's the process of like moving forward with that creation process. And also knowing that, for me, faith is also knowing there's some things I don't control that are beyond my pay grade, that grace or a higher power, for me, it's God, right? It's that's really where I put my faith and trust. And then I just do what I know I feel like I need to do, like what you just did right then and there, right? Where you're like, let's talk about this, So.
Well, and that is, I think, and by the way, Monica, thank you. I love that you're so, Monica, I love Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
She's so enthusiastic all the time. I'm giving you a big hug because I just love your energy. For me, and this has been huge for me, especially over the last couple of years, of I don't even have a word for it, but I know there's something so much bigger. There's something so much, and it might, sometimes I think about it as it's all of us. It's all of love. It's, usually for me, it comes forward as love. It's the great love. Mm-hmm. And I also know that if I get out of the little me self, this person, and can kind of open up to like that, when things come, I just call it, they come dropping in, I didn't think it up, but they come dropping in, and then I feel like it's my job to do it. And not like we've been saying, it's like, it's not up to us what happens. You asked me the other day how I started doing these conversations. I didn't think that up. That was a gift, right? That was a gift from life that said, hey, there's all these cool people who know so much and could support people right now. Give them a voice.
Yeah. And it's interesting because even just with that, then there's going to be all these other people that receive and hear that voice, right? And I know you said at first you had the idea, but then you, for some reason, got put in the back burner, some other things, but then it came back again. I think that's how we came up with the conversation of the redo, right? Where it came back and you're like, okay, because of the climate, because of everything, it's like, I'm doing this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I think we had the conversation about the kind of like, I can, I will, I must.
Yes.
Kind of turning into the necessity where it's like, you just start it right away. And it's like, there's no resistance. You do this thing. I'm going to figure it out.
Damon, I love this. I'm actually, I don't know for anybody else what the experience is, but personally, I'm so delighted that I have this redo with you, because there's so many things that are, for me, lessons that came in from this, that I needed. This idea of a redo was beautiful. Leah, we were talking about that, about these conversations and how fortunate I am that I had the chance for a redo. And then here we are. I'm so grateful for this redo, right? Like that life is so generous. And I guess that's what I would pose to people too. Like, where in your life, maybe it's a relationship that we feel like we didn't quite do very gracefully, or we ended on a bad note, and is there a chance right now for a redo? I think it's a great thing to think about.
I love that. And you know what? To speak of that, I'm gonna walk away just for a second because I want to bring something back. Hang on, real quick.
Come back, Damon. Don't leave me. Monica, thank you. I see you.
I'm coming. We can also just figure out if anyone else has any questions.
And Damon, I also want to be respectful of your time.
How much time do we have right now?
It's 2:23.
All right. Well, I can't find the thing I was looking for, but I will share this. I got a message from my mom this morning. She's like the queen of optimism and faith. And so, give me a second. Sorry.
That's okay.
And I'm on my phone, so I can't see it, but she just sent me a message. And just said, like, how proud she is of me and how am I doing, and checking in with me and everything. And just, I thought that was really cool. So anyway, I was doing some my own study like I do every morning. And there's a message that I sent out to a few people that are like, that mean something to me. And I got a message back by one of my friends named Ed. And he's like, Damon, you have no idea how timely this message is that you sent to me. He's like, because things are going, he's in the healthcare. He's like, things are crazy. I mean, they're good, they're crazy. And because the message was really just about like fortifying our home and, taking this time to, be with our loved ones and stuff.
Yeah.
And, so anyway, he left, and it was a text message, super long, but sometimes we don't see the loop getting closed of why we feel we need to do something. Right. So I think, anyway, that was really cool because he's totally appreciative and like, it was totally relevant. And he's like, man, this just totally helped me think, more clearly. And he's like, dude, thanks so much for sending it, and the reason I was looking for something, there was actually a message from Ethan they left on my desk the other day. Just I wish I could find it now. Anyway, that's what happens when you do things on the spur of the moment. But anyway, it's just basically, again, just a note of appreciation, right? And so kind of like what you're saying is that sometimes when there's the redo, or we have to ask for forgiveness or whatever, it just starts with that message, being vulnerable enough to say, you know what, that was my bad, right? Or just ask for forgiveness, right? Even if you're 100% justified, right? Like the other person did something 100% justified, right? And saying, you know what, no, I'm digging in my heels here. It's like, you know what, just be the better person, and just it just, for the feeling, the return on the feeling that you get,
Yes.
it's like, that's just the best way to approach it, and just say, okay, I forgive on my side. You do whatever you want to do, right? But I'm going to forgive, and this is why. So,
Wow.
but anyway, I think the power of just sending somebody the message. So I'm sure you get messages like that, that really like make a difference for you.
Absolutely.
And you're grateful that the person didn't like doubt themselves, right?
Yes. Oh, what a beautiful, I'm so glad. What a beautiful message. I want to say hi to Johnny who just joined us. Johnny Can. I love that. Johnny Can. That's a great name. I love it. Damon, do I have you for a few more minutes, or do we have to go?
Yeah, let's do 5 more minutes. Let's do 5 more minutes, and
all right. I love it. Good. Yeah, because now that I have you, I don't want to let you go again. But again,
and the technology's working.
I know. I want to give a nod. I hope this is okay, but we talked about it last time. I want to give a nod to your wife. And here we are. We're just talking about, like, we don't know. We did the closing, like, we don't know when we put something out who it's going to impact. And you told a story the other day that I'll just tell real quickly, which had to do with gathering the family to read together, to offer some safety and comfort. I've been thinking about this a lot. And she doesn't know, right, that you shared this with me or with anybody else. And here I'm going to be sharing that idea, right, with people. Oh, here's a great, especially I know a lot of people who love to read. And what a great way to bring your family into some comfort and outside of all the fear. Anyway, that's dropping in for me, because I think I want to encourage people too to remember, like, we're role models all the time. We don't even know who's going to be impacted by some love that we offer, or by some generosity, or just,
Yeah. One thing I was even thinking about that a little bit more as we've been doing this during this downtime here, is how just the power of proximity, right? Like, so the whole family's there, except for one of my daughters, Sayla, who's married, she's in Utah, but the whole family's there, and how everyone can just sit, read whatever they want to read, right? And be there, but like know that everyone, so it's like we're probably getting more than maybe some of us like to have, but we have more time
yes,
to think about things, like hear our own thoughts, which I think is extremely important. I mean, there's no way you're going to have vision or be valiant or really be victorious. And when I say victorious, I mean it's like success and fulfillment. It's not just like you accomplished this thing and you got the accolades, right? I'm talking about things that really matter, like long term, right? But without taking that time, I know you're obviously a big fan and practitioner of meditating and those type of things, and it's like this gives us the time to do that more, and so that's not. I would consider that a form of meditation, where we're all sitting there reading and just with our thoughts, some that we care, but again, it's like you're in a very safe place, and you have your loved ones around you, and a quick warning, at least for me with especially my 9-year-old twins, it was the first time was a little rough. We got through it. We went for an hour, but the first 20 minutes was pretty rough, right, to get through it. But again, all the credit to my wife, just like to have that idea, and she's one of the most persuasive influences in my life. It was like when she said it, I'm like, that is a great idea. Let's do that, and it's been huge. It's been really good for us. So
And Damon, I love that, I don't want to have to end this, but I actually really love that we're ending this on this note of what takes you in, what takes you inward to get quiet, whether it's, like you're saying, the reading, or for some people it's walking in nature. I do love to meditate, but this is such a beautiful time for people too. And it's not easy. And I want to underscore that part too, right? Like the first 1,000 times I meditated, right? I was like your 9-year-olds, like, get me out of here. It can be hard to settle in, but what a beautiful opportunity to get to know ourselves and our loved ones in a whole new way.
Yeah. And also, like I heard Charlie talk about this, where he has the word for the decade.
Yes.
Right. I have one for the year. That's next level. He's for the decade, but mine is engage. And for me, this has really been great to like not only to like deepen that understanding of what that means, but actually live into that word under the current climate and the circumstances, to where like, because now engage brings on a whole nother word or another meaning to it, right? And experience. So anyway, if no one's done that, I'd really invite them to choose a word, for the year. You can be like Charlie and be for the decade or whatever it is. But again, my word is just engage, and that was something I actually prayed about and spent some time, because I had a few words like, empower. I'm like, that sounds good. How about this? Leader. Okay. I had some other words. I was like, okay. But then I just kept sitting with it, like I said, praying about it. And then I was like, engage. And then it was like, it just sat and felt right. So anyway, with that,
I know you have to go. I want you to come back later because Greg has a question, but maybe you'll answer him in the comments later.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Or or you want me to answer? Is it an easy question?
I don't know. I'll read it. How about that? I'll read it. Greg says,
let's do that. I like to close the loop if I can.
I know. What ways do you get that crystal clear? I can feel it, and I will not be stopped vision when it isn't fully in focus yet. So how do you get that crystal clear vision, Damon?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would just go upstream. Upstream is like, how do you really want to feel? Like, what do you want more of? Well, and then that just takes a little bit of work. And also, it's not one of those things I think you can really rush.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, in 5 minutes, okay, I'm gonna do a timer. I'm gonna come up with my vision. But just to answer the question, where I personally, what I would do is I would start with when this is all said and done, like, how do I want to feel more of? Is it peaceful? Is it like motivated? Is it empowering? Is it, again, everyone's gonna have their own word. Like when we talked about is defining that, which would be the next step is how do you want to feel, and then defining like what that means, right? I think that's a great place to start. And will you let me know if that helped, Greg? Is that?
Yeah, we haven't heard back from Greg yet.
Do I get thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm giving you a thumbs up.
Okay.
Because I think also like, again, I don't want to end, but I know we have to, and that's a great place to end. Like just leaving people with that question to sit with. How do you want to feel through this? Who do you want to be? And like you brought, going back to your 3 V's, right? Like what is that victorious place at the end? And just letting people sit with all those beautiful questions you've posed. Oh, and Greg says, I love it. It helps.
No. Okay, cool. And also what you just said, I think is important. So the vision is ultimately, right, the destination, right? Mm-hmm. And then obviously there's going to be the journey part, right? So what does the destination look like ultimately that you're going to arrive to? I think Valiant is character, right? Like deep inside, like how are you going to feel? What do you want to act like? Those types of things, right? And then the victorious is the feeling of that outcome. So what does it feel like when you're there at the location or striving towards it and you're acting from your character? Anyway, with what you just said, just brought kind of more explanation to it.
Can you come back and talk
anyway
24 hours straight next time, Damon? We'll just do a day-long marathon, okay?
I don't know. You got to be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. Yes. I loved all our conversations. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sherry. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Damon. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here, you guys.
See you later. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys.